Okay, welcome back to the video lecture. Okay, when it comes to understanding the social world, I believe there are three atypical tools that sociologists can use to put the various pieces of information together to inference a meaning that is veiled by the things that mask the mechanisms of our society. These three atypical tools are curiosity, imagination, and empathy. When it comes to understanding our social world, we should have our questions as to how it comes together. We should continue to ask ourselves, why? Why is this the case? We have to be willing to deconstruct our social interactions and the environments in which they occur in to understand our place and the motives of interactions that we are encouraged to have by the people and social forces around us. For instance, have you ever been inside a bank and analyzed why things are the way that they are? None of this is random, as often there will be a screen with moving images above a teller's head. This is to get you to look up, so that way your face is visible. Maybe when you walk in, there will be someone to direct you. In my experience, this person is incentivized to be nice and give off an illusion of caring, so that way they can do their job to sell you new accounts. The selling of new accounts is a performance metric to which if the bank employee doesn't make, then there will be someone new who will do it. On a larger scale, these performance metrics are why the larger banks have such high turnover, as it allows for them to hire new, fresh-faced folks with enthusiasm who might be willing to leverage their social connections to get these new accounts. Under the conflict perspective, there's a clear connection between the haves and have-nots, and the people that own the means of production will do whatever they can to exploit the people who have only their labor. According to Karl Marx, the people who own the means of production are the bourgeoisie, and the people who have only their labor are the proletariat. And for Marx, the people that are willing to work for less are the perpetual underclass that keep the proletariat in check. Work for these wages or wind up like them. When it comes to curiosity, my personal research strategy has been less than straightforward. In my life, often I found myself not asking questions and simply observing and putting together the pieces from other realms. Or I've used humor or out there questions to take people out of their scripts to reveal how things work. My favorite is, I only want to sign up for this credit card if you get points. This taking people out of their scripts by intentionally breaking down social interactions is called ethnomethodology. My methods are subtle and observational. I tend to deconstruct language and environments at a higher level while taking into account broader historical and social forces. What can I say? I'm a sociologist. Okay. Another atypical tool to understand the social world is imagination. In the case of the sociological imagination, this was the connection between history and biography as an explanatory tool. For our personal lives, imagination is helpful in understanding the bigger out there ideas. It's a helpful tool to use when you want to make sense of why something occurs. For instance, when you see a billboard on the street that suggests that Marines celebrate Hispanic values and the Marines who act on them, this can be extrapolated to an overt appeal that the Marines want to recruit Hispanic people, and further extrapolated to there is a shortage of Hispanics in the military. So can you see that? Okay. The key point about using imagination when it comes to research is that an active imagination can be useful in developing more abstract theories and to taking the things that you see around you and putting the pieces together to inference ideas about the world. Researchers tend to use their imaginations and broader social connections when they are putting together the evidence of how things go together. One of the most celebrated ideas in sociology is Max Weber's Protestant ethic and the spirit of capitalism, in which Max Weber suggests how it was the ideas of the Calvinist and predestination heaven who encouraged hard work for the sake of hard work, and that these people reshifted the organizational and business structures of the time. As society moved from feudalism to an industrial economy, it was the Calvinists whose hard-working ethic helped them rise in business and organizations and encouraged people to have a certain ethos, meaning they would hire people that had this work ethic, this spirit. Hence the title, The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, suggests that the capitalistic spirit of hard work and rationalization stems from the Protestant religions, specifically the Calvinists. Of course, sociologists and historians have debated this theory, but is valid at face level and uses an imagination to describe a spirit that guided sociological change. Okay, the last tool is empathy. This is putting yourself in other people's shoes. Further iterations of this idea are about listening and being non-judgmental. Often as sociologists, we have to be able to look into understanding things that are different from our own lived experience. The ability to use empathy can help us understand how people live and interact. It can help us understand the forces that encourage their behaviors and the things that constrict them. For example, there's a question I'd like to ask my students in face-to-face classes. Pretend that you are a Saudi Arabian woman. Given what we know about Saudi Arabian society, where the penalties for being not Muslim are death, and it is an honor-based society, in light of women's rights to drive throughout the world, how might you, as a Saudi Arabian woman, organize a drive to drive in your society? How would you get other Saudi Arabian women in line with what you're trying to do? Over the years, I've heard fascinating insights and ideas, but the one that I like the best is mockery through cultural diffusion. There's a song that someone did on the internet called No Woman, No Drive, in the tune of Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry. It went like, no woman, no drive. No woman, no drive. And the guy was dressed up in full cultural garb. And, surely the people, the forces of power, they did not like this. Of course, satire is not really empathetic. However, I would argue that one does need empathetic skills to make fun of something using satire. Okay, so there you have it. In these video lectures, I talked about the 4 themes that I use to understand the social world, and the 3 atypical tools in which someone can better understand the social world. I also weaved in some discussion about the 3 sociological perspectives. I hope that this lecture is informative, and I know what you're thinking. What's up with the hat?